Grand Rising, good afternoon or good evening, whenever and whoever you are, welcome to Awakened Abundance, your go-to channel for self-help, law of attraction, and overall good vibes content. Yeah. If this is your first time with us, please don't be shy. Feel free to have a little browse around, relax, check out the content, and maybe subscribe, like, or even share the video. To our subscribers, big love, big appreciation. Thanks for the support. And of course, you're welcome to drop some comments in the chat. It's good to talk, encourage one another about what we're doing in terms of abundance. And, it's just good to get people's thoughts, helps us grow as a channel. So thank you. Quick disclaimer, here at Awakened Abundance, we offer no professional advice. We're not experts or emerging gurus, simply just students exploring life using universal principles and sharing our journey. That's it. Now, with that out of the way, time for the source. Today's theme, today's topic of discussion, go with the flow. Yeah. So, when this theme popped into my mind, I played with it for a little while. Me personally, when I think of going with the flow, it feels a little bit passive, maybe a little whimsical. It's got that kind of non-committal sort of vibe to it. I mean, like, imagine you're in a business meeting. The CEO of the company is talking about taking the company to a new level of success, and then opens the table for discussion, for ideas about how we might go about achieving that. And somebody suggests going with the flow. I think we could agree that that person is going to be frowned upon and maybe get corrected publicly or in private. It's not a good look sometimes to just have the mentality of going with the flow. So as we approach this theme, it will be based on universal law. I'm feeling like much of this is going to be based around the law of rhythm. The law of rhythm states that everything moves in cycles. It moves in and out. I suppose good examples of this would be the tide coming in and going out, or the motion of how we breathe, breathing in and breathing out. So that's the law of rhythm. Feels fair and accurate to say that generally speaking, life moves in rhythm or in cycles. The first example that comes to mind is moving in positive and negative cycles. Sometimes we have good experiences, sometimes we have bad experiences or positive and negative experiences. Interestingly enough, that falls into another category of universal principles called the law of polarity. That states that everything in nature has an opposite. So for this discussion, the polarity I'll be talking about will be positives, negatives, but I'll refer to it more in terms of summer and winter seasons. So I was thinking, bearing in mind these laws, polarity and rhythm, I found myself questioning, is it possible to prepare or protect ourselves against those winter seasons? Seasons where we might be suffering with our finances or our health. Maybe it's heartache or heartbreak. Now, obviously life offers no guarantees, and again, this is not any kind of advice, these are just ideas, but here are some thoughts on that. What if, during our winter seasons, when the law of rhythm swings into the negative and brings us contrast that isn't comfortable, what if we were able to formulate plans and make a commitment that during these seasons we do everything we can to bring about our desired outcome? What if we combined our research, actions, our plans with consistent meditation or prayer? Again, not suggesting any guaranteed results here, but what could it potentially mean in terms of probability or likelihood to improve our winter experience? Now, I don't mind going on record and saying that I'm certainly no scholar of the Bible by any means, but something popped up in my mind, a scripture, and it's from Colossians chapter 3 verse 23. Feels very appropriate, and I'm going to go old school and quote the King James Version here, and it reads as follows: "And whatsoever ye do, do it heartily, as to the Lord, not unto men." Something like that stood out to me. That idea about just doing things with that extra level of conviction or devotion, I thought it was quite powerful. On to another point. Recently, I heard a statistic which claimed that on average, people give up on their goal after failing for the third time. Feels like a fairly good estimation. I mean, I've not looked into these statistics with any real depth, but it felt that was quite probable, that it was accurate. And it just got me thinking further, as we inevitably find ourselves dealing with some form of winter season, some kind of winter experience, just the idea of almost having like a hedge against life's inflation. I consider that, like, when we look at certain procedures at work, from a health and safety perspective, procedures such as fire evacuation or earthquake drills, depending on where you are in the world, I'm thinking it would be really, really beneficial to have some procedures or drills for our winter seasons. That kind of what to do when you're heartbroken, or when there's not enough month at the end of the money. I love that saying. Shout out to the late Jim Rohn. He coined that phrase. What to do when there's not enough month at the end of the money, when your pockets are kind of light. We like to keep it real here at Awakened Abundance, and I don't mind saying, nah, scratch that. I'm proud to declare that despite dealing with my own winter season, and mine's been ongoing for 17 months, a year and a half. Despite that winter season, I've been able to withstand it and overcome a handful of challenges. And although I've made a lot of progress, like I said earlier, my cycle remains ongoing. What I will say though is that by observing the law of rhythm, by appreciating the existence of the law of polarity and drawing on the law of attraction through, meditation, affirmation, visualizations, and being consistent with it, I can truly say that the experience, though it's definitely been painful and stretched me, I can honestly sense that I've had some growth. I feel that to some degree it's refined me as a person, and it's enabled me to make decisions and make moves beyond what I ever really thought I would, had it not been for some of these trials and tribulations. It's literally been a life-changing experience. Where I am today, in my experience, is quite mind-blowing, even though I still find myself experiencing some contrast, dealing with some uncertainty. Ultimately, I can see that all will be well, and it's almost like I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. So I hope this has been interesting for you. Love kind of talking about ways of looking at how we can find abundance around us. I'd like to thank you for your time. This is Awakened Abundance, talking about going with the flow. I'd like to wish you a wonderful day and an even better week. Thank you.